All
Regreso.
right, beautiful. So we're going to start today by reviewing our discussion where we finished class last week. Tavares was asking me to review the concept of the relationship between life and art, which is perfect because that's exactly what I have planned to do today. We're going to discuss it a little bit more. Then we'll go over the writing assignment. Some of you have already started the writing assignment. It's actually not due until Friday. I wanted to give people some more time, not because it's a long writing assignment. It's only 50, 60 words, but it's the concept of relating these two TV shows to life, to the real world, is a lot to think about. So I want to give everybody some time to do that, and we'll be able to discuss it today. Then to further understand this relationship between art and life, we're going to use a Venn diagram exercise, and that should be fun. Then we'll take a break, and then we'll do what I've meant to do last week, is review Chapter 2 vocabulary, because we don't want anybody to forget all that vocabulary we learned in Chapter 2. All the stuff from labor and finance, all that good stuff. And we'll wrap it up with a little vocabulary game of Typhoon, which should be fun. So that's my plan today, because I've given you a lot of a difficult writing assignment, not a long, but not because it's long, but because it's a lot to think about, and a challenging assignment. So I'm going to make the class a little bit more fun, a little more upbeat today. So with this agenda right here, our last discussion was on the relationship between art and life, and how with the medium of film or TV shows that we watch, there's a give and take, or a push and pull. I just learned from Tavares that he will be studying architecture for his master's degree. So I'd actually like to switch mediums, meaning the type of art, to design. Everybody tell me, the space that you're in right now, wherever you're in during this class, how does it influence your life? For instance, right now, I'm going to turn my background off. Usually I like teaching with a background like this, because I can be in a different place every day. But in reality, if I show you where my background is, this is my background, where it's my daughter's crib. So in real life, there's a lot going on. But if I change my background, for instance, I could be anywhere. So now I'm in the Boston Public Library. But the space that I'm in, the confined space that I live in, does influence my life a lot. The amount of space I have to move around, space I have to work. A lot of people don't have a quiet space away from their family or their roommates. Many of our students who find it challenging to come to these classes can't get the amount of space they need to do their schoolwork. So I want to ask everybody, how does the space that you live in influence your life? And it can be different for everybody. Who wants to begin?
I want to begin.
Go for it, Alessi.
Because I had a lot of unfortunate bad experience sharing places with people here in America. So what I know now, it's you have to distance yourself in some, I don't know how, but you have to find a way to protect your mind from disturbance from that comes from other people. And because when you share place with people that you don't know, even with people that we know, but specifically the people that you don't know, everyone has their bad, good and bad things. Everyone has their temper. Uh, you come
Temperament
home,
or
temperament, yes, temperament, and it influence when it's a bad thing, it influence on your um, creativity and how you feel. Because if you don't have peace, right now I'm focused on this because I've started notice when I'm in a place that I don't feel comfortable, it influenced my creativity. So I feel like I'm stuck. I can do things like things that make me feel more alive. Let's say like this. So it influences. So we have to keep ourselves in this safe place. Try to get our minds out of the not so good situation. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. I said a lot.
George, teacher.
Oh, I'm sorry, I muted myself so that that my daughter's actually in the next room, so that nobody would be. I didn't want Leslie to be interrupted. So I think what you're saying is resonating very well with a lot of your classmates. If you can see the video panel open, all your classmates when you were talking were going like this. Absolutely. Think about in terms of art and life, think about the space that you're in right now, Alessi. Is it designed in a way in terms of the, because like in terms of like the space, the built space, whoever designed that space that you're in right now, is it designed in a way that allows you uh, to to live a healthy life, or could it have been designed better? And this is kind of a way. And I'm kind of sending this also to Tavares, because he's a creative person. He's going to be designing spaces that people will live in.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can feel. I can have light, sunlight, not directly, like the direct sunlight, but I can have its some light coming inside, for example, my home. And this the design of the place, it's okay. I can be comfortable in my place. Yes. Is the other things that comes.
Good stuff. Thank you, Alessi. Let's get it. I want to hear a few more voices. Does everybody else feel like?
Can you repeat the
Yeah, the question is
again?
in terms of this physical space, because I was thinking about, instead of the relationship between the movies or TV shows that we watch and how it influences our life, another kind of art, the space that we're the spaces that we live in, our homes, the buildings we work in, all of these things. How does the space that you're in right now influence your life? That's the question. Would you like to take the next one?
I can
Rana?
say something. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. For me, I grew up with my father is very interested about the art, and he like all kind of art. And from I was kid, he said that you will be an artist. So this is the atmosphere that I grow in. So I believe that. And when I finished my secondary school, I didn't think about anything, only art, fine art university. So because in Egypt we must to have um, high grade, high marks
Scores.
to go to this. So I spent all my life to go to this university, because the atmosphere around me, also my father and my grandmother like to collect the antiques, the stamps. So this is, I don't know if this is exactly what you want to say. This is the atmosphere that I grow up in. So it's
not exactly. I'm talking about the space that you're
influ-
living in right now. Is it influencing your life?
my house.
Yeah, just whatever space, wherever you are. Maybe you're not even in your house.
Here
Maybe you're sitting in a cafe, wherever you are.
I think the art is everywhere. If you want to see art, it's the art. It's something to feel. If you want to see that, if you give yourself this promotion, you will see art in everything around you.
Okay.
I think that's.
Yeah. Now I think I'm gonna direct this same question to Narexi. Narexi, since you are a yoga teacher, how does the space that you practice yoga in influence your work? Do you feel like you have a better practice in one space or another space? Some people like to. All right, tell us everything.
Yeah. I try looking the best word for explain, because okay, we are live in the space make for another people. So we are there. We are behavior depend that's playing. So we talk using clothes, and we have a behavior is like you move, you talk with. That's it. That's what is correct, George? Behavior.
Yeah,
Yes?
behavior. Yeah.
Yes. When you are there in any everywhere place, you feel like that's place. So if you want to do yoga in your house, for example, it's good, but it's your house. When we have in house, we think in clean, cook the food, something like this. But when you go to the studio yoga, that place is the wall, the floor, the smell, the everything talk about relax, stay calm, quiet, and I think so.
You're actually describing in a lot of ways. That's a lot of times that's the way churches or mosques or temples, holy spaces are designed for people to escape one aspect, kind of like turn off the real world and enter like a spiritual space. Yeah. Thinking about that. I'm going to continue with the lesson I had planned, but what I'm doing right now is I'm giving everybody a lecture by David Byrne. Does anybody know who David Byrne is?
No.
He's a musician. He composes a lot of music. And he gives a lecture. You've probably heard some of his songs. He was singing for the Talking Heads, but he composes a lot of songs, and he talks about how different spaces have influenced the music people listen to over the years. He talks about how some songs are designed to be played for huge audiences of thousands of people, and some songs are designed to be played for a small room of people. And he talks about the relationship between music and physical spaces. And I think everybody will enjoy it. So I'm going to send this to the group chat. So there you go. And this is on the TED website, so you can put any subtitles you like. There you go. All right, so everybody got that. That's just a little extra. So, and it's this larger relationship between life and art. Let's continue on. Looks like, and as everybody was sharing, we have a few more people joining us. Welcome everybody. So we're going to pick up where we left off last week. Last class, we looked at the two shows, Squid Game and Servant of the People. One is a Ukrainian show, one is a South Korean show. Now, I showed everybody this video, and then we went into and then I showed everybody a second video, and then we went into a quick breakout room, and I just left the idea in everyone's head. So Squid Game, wildly popular South Korean show, very dark story, desperate. It's about absolutely desperate people in a situation where they're willing to die to get money. And they're doing this for entertainment. People are watching them compete. It's gambling, and it's the metaphor in the first episode is a man who has no money, bets on a horse, and he wins. And then by the end of the show, of the end of the first series, he finds out that as these people have been competing in this game, people are watching them, and they're betting money on people, treating human beings like horses in a race. So that's how it begins, with a horse race, and it finishes with a human race. And then he finds out what's been going on, and he says, "I'm not a horse." But don't worry, I didn't spoil the entire show, but that's the overarching theme of the show. The question is, for this class, is life imitating art, or is art imitating life? Because the show became so popular, it started a series of memes. People started making their own TikTok videos imitating the characters. People started dressing like the characters. November, December, January, people were trying to wear the outfits, trying to buy those white van shoes.
That's right.
Which one's happening? Is life copying the show, or is the show so close to the real world, the pressure people feel to make money, that the show is a mirror of society? Which one is it? So let's take a look. Let me make sure the sound is working here. Let me just fix my sound here. Aha, that was it.
Squid Game is not
Okay,
like...
everybody can hear that okay? All right, here we go.
anything else on television. Think Hunger Games meets Parasite, a gory...
Come on.
Squid Game is not like anything else on television. Think Hunger Games meets Parasite, a gory dystopian thriller. on track to be the most watched streaming sensation ever. The series pits contestants against each other in a life and death struggle for survival and riches.
It's the macabre thriller taking the world by storm. Squid Game, the latest South Korean cultural export. Since premiering on Netflix last month, its dazzling visuals and moments of stunning brutality making it the #1 streaming show in over 90 countries and climbing. Squid Game is about a group of down-on-their-luck contestants who are in so much debt, they end up risking their lives competing in life-or-death versions of classic children's games, like Red Light, Green Light. At stake, survival and a $38 million cash prize. The show's popularity wielding an immediate impact on the cultural zeitgeist. Halloween masks and costumes already popping up on sites like Etsy and Amazon. Sales for white Vans slip-ons similar to the ones worn on the show spiking 7,800%. Language learning app Duolingo reporting a 40% increase in the US, with new users wanting to learn Korean. And Squid Game's challenges going viral on TikTok.
Yo, wait, I'll be right back. Let me just get another cookie.
As people attempt their own versions of some of the typically Korean games. Even Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon doing his own cookie challenge before interviewing the cast on his show.
인간의 탐욕이나 인간의 본성을 굉장히 잘 표현했기 때문에 그런 부분들을 많은 분들이 공감해 주신 것 같습니다.
I think that the mania for Squid Game is both really unprecedented and yet at the same time, it's something that we have been building up towards as a culture. People are venturing more into stuff that they might not have before.
This is my sister.
And while the show is on track to surpass Bridgerton, Netflix's most watched series of all time, there is some backlash in South Korea as the show highlights the desperate economic inequality, lack of affordable housing, and the ever-present pressure for perfection, all hitting a bit too close for comfort.
I stopped at last class to highlight this word backlash, and I'm going to review that. So who remembers what the word backlash means? I'm going to circle that right here. There we go. Backlash. Who recalls what is the word backlash? I'll write it on the screen here. Backlash.
Backlash.
Negative response.
Very good, Natalia. Very good. Yes, a negative response. Good memory. There you go. You were taking notes last class. I love it. So yes, a negative response. So in this report, they cut to a bird's eye view of a South Korean city. I can only assume it's Seoul. I don't know. What is this backlash, this negative response from the country where the show came from? Why would there be a backlash? I'll play it again. Here we go. So the show is wildly popular. People all over the world are dressing like the characters, playing the games. It's a popular culture phenomenon. Okay, so that looks like life is imitating art. People want to dress like the characters, life imitating art, right? But wait a minute. Why is there a backlash?
Backlash in South Korea as the show highlights the desperate economic inequality.
As the show highlights
This is my.
The show highlights and I'll underline the closed caption.
There is some backlash in South Korea as the show highlights the desperate economic inequality.
The show highlights the what?
I think it's economic inequality.
Yes.
Right.
Talk about no similar the life the people. So yes, it's inequality. That's its word. Yeah.
I think the series is show the people how the people live in real life. The president see when we saw the news, we see other things. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what.
Yeah, exactly. So this doesn't make the country look like a happy place to live. If people are so desperate to make money that they're willing to die to get money to pay off their debt, that looks like the story is a scary story. So that's where the negative backlash, exactly what Perla is saying. This doesn't look like a nice image for the country. And so there's desperate economic inequality. Okay, that sounds like the real world. What else?
Lack of affordable housing.
Lack of affordable housing. What's that?
Squid.
Is some
People aren't
backlash in
able
South
to,
Korea as the show
to
highlights the
afford
desperate
place
economic
to live.
inequality. Lack of
Yes, exactly, Alessi. There it is. I'm going to put my highlighter back there. Here we go. Lack of affordable housing. Well, that sounds like the real world. I don't think you have to go to South Korea to find that. We can find that here in Boston. That sounds like a familiar story. What else?
affordable housing and the ever-present pressure for perfection.
And the ever-present pressure for perfection. Nurexi, you watched the series since last class. I hope I haven't made you lose sleep if you've been binging the entire series, but what do you think this means? The ever-present pressure for perfection. What is that? Pressure for perfection.
Okay, I remember you have to do everything like a competition, like you have you should be better another person, because if you don't you died in the game. But yes, in the game.
Squid Game is not like anything else on television.
Yes, this is a game where people are manipulating each other to stay alive, using each other, pretending
Squid Game is not like anything else.
Making friendships and then betraying the people they become friends with to win this money. That's what Nurex is talking about. You're absolutely right. In society, this backlash, it makes, so we have the economic...
South Korea, as the show highlights the desperate economic inequality.
Desperate economic inequality. So you have an extreme wealth gap. That sounds familiar. We have that in this country.
Lack of affordable housing.
Lack of affordable housing. Inability to find an affordable place to live.
And the ever-present pressure for perfection.
Ever-present pressure for perfection. Everybody feels like they're not good enough. Everyone, no matter who they are, feels like they have failed in life. Somehow they're getting the message that they have failed. And that's the essential, that's this feeling in all of the society. Does any of this sound familiar to anyone?
The life. you never have enough.
That doesn't sound like fiction at all. That sounds like the real world to me. That's all of that. Like economic inequality. Yeah, can't find a house. Yeah. Not good enough. Oh yeah, I know that. The 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That's not fake. That's all real. That's the real world. None of that's fake. So now, going back to the question, is life imitating art or is art imitating life? Think of the analogy of a mirror. Is this show just a mirror reflecting the real world? Or is this the real world copying the show? That's the question. Bye-bye, Nurexi. We miss you. Great job.
Thank you.
Perla, what do you think?
I think the art help us understand the new day every day. I think it's like me understand the whole world. I think that's arc mean in the life.
Okay, it gives us, so Perla says that art is giving us a better understanding, perspective of what's happening. That makes sense. Tavares, is this helping? Is it making a bit more sense what the question is about? Oh, you're muted.
Teacher, I think the people think world shows to do very straight, to do well. I think is this.
Well, no, my question is, are you understanding the assignment better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. What I want to do now is, in the last, the end of the last class, I showed the other series, which is from the Ukraine, which is, last week I showed everybody Servant of the People.
Yep.
And for anybody who missed that class, just a little review. If this is a show about an ordinary history teacher who becomes the president, who gives a very political rant in a classroom. It goes viral. He loses his job, but because the video of his shouting about all the problems in society goes viral on the internet, people like him. He becomes popular, and he actually gets put on the local ballot and becomes the president. And the entire show is how this ordinary person becomes the president of the country, and he has to learn how to become the president. If this guy looks familiar, the actor, what's the reason he might look familiar? We see him on the news every day today. He's no longer an actor. He is this guy who was a president on TV is now what? Who is this guy in real life today?
President.
He is a real president. So at the end of the last class, we discussed the democratic, the phenomenon of modern democracy, where
what is your CPA study line?
I hate those commercials. 1, 2, 3. Okay. In 2019, in the real world, this guy who was an actor comedian became an actual president. People saw him play a president on TV, and then they actually voted for him to be a president in the real world. And he's actually leading a defense of his country in a war. So this was clearly a situation of life imitating art to an extreme, but there still is a push and pull. When we went into breakout rooms last time, looking about the instance of Volodymyr Zelensky going from actor to president, playing a president on TV to being the president in real life, I ask everyone in the breakout to go into breakout rooms and discuss, would this happen where you're from? A lot of students from Haiti mentioned a musician, an entertainer who became president. In this country, we've had entertainment figures become politicians as well. We've had professional wrestlers elected to Senate. We've had reality. Our last president was a reality TV star. In the 1980s, our president was a sportscaster. We had a president who used to be a sportscaster and an actor. So that's not entirely unbelievable. People going from entertainment, the creative world, to the political world. So that also could be an instance of the question of life imitating art imitating life. Yeah, go for it.
And also Trump, he is make one shot in he acts in Home Alone. Yes.
Well, yep, yeah. Except he
Trump.
played himself. He played himself.
He
Yeah,
wants
he was.
to be
Yeah.
a famous. So
Yes, he was playing himself. Yeah, so he was.
yes.
He was kind of. He was this public. He was a public figure of entertainment.
And he also
long
make
before.
program.
Yep, that's a
I don't know
reality. That's
the
right. Reality show. It was called The
Yes.
Apprentice. Yeah, that's what I meant. He was a
Yes.
reality TV star. A reality
Yes.
TV star. People saw him on TV and then went into the ballot, then went into a voting booth and said, "Yep, I'll vote for that guy. I saw him on TV. I'll vote for that guy." So that situation of this show is not entirely unbelievable. Let's go into the actual assignment. So here is the assignment on, let's see, on Google Classroom. It's due Friday. It's not a lot of writing, but I'm going to go over the assignment. Anybody want to volunteer to read?
Not clear for me, teacher.
Who would like to read?
Franklin.
Franklin, go for it. I'll underline what I would like you to read.
Okay, teacher.
Can everybody see? Can everybody see clearly?
I'm okay. In class today, you looked at two popular TV shows: the Squid Game from South America and Severance.
South Korea.
South Korea. I'm sorry, South Korea.
No problem.
And Severance of the people from the Ukraine. Attached in this recording of Monday morning's class in relation both those programs. Is art imitation life or is life imitation arts?
Imitating life. Imitating.
I'm sorry, imitating.
So this is the prompt, the question I'm asking you to answer in your writing. If you look at both of these TV programs, Servant of the People and a report about that, the Ukrainian show is right there. A president on TV becomes president in real life. What's happening? Is life copying art or is art copying life? And Squid Game, same question. Is life copying art or is art copying life? And all I want you to do is write a short paragraph right here. Write your answer in 55 to 60 words on a Google Doc. So it's not a lot of writing. The writing itself is not that hard, but the concept is what I want to give everybody time to think about. What's happening? Are both of these shows copying the real world, or is the real world copying what's happening in these shows? I'll pause right here. Do we have any questions about this assignment? Short writing, but complicated concept. Okay, here's the test. I have a test that never fails. Teachers always have tricks to make sure that students understand what's happening. Here's the test. If you understand, say nothing. Perfect. Everybody understands. All right. Let's go. Marie gets the joke. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into the Venn diagram exercise. Now, Squid Game is the South Korean show, and Servant of the People is the Ukrainian show. In some ways, they have similarities, and in many ways, they have differences. I'm going to switch to a whiteboard. Here we go. I'm going to my whiteboard, and this is the Venn diagram. All right. So right here we have, I'll make a bigger circle. Right here we have Squid Game. And right here we have Servant of the People. Even though this is being recorded, you might want to take a few notes during this exercise. Servant of the People. Now, in the middle, we want to highlight comparisons, how they are similar. And outside, we want to find out how they are different. Raise your hand or bring up the emoji if you can identify some obvious differences of either of the shows. And let's look for some people who haven't shared yet. Fride, Handy, Cleomaine, anybody. The most obvious is that they're from two different countries. Where is Servant of the People from?
So South Korea.
There we go. Well, no, that's this one. Squid Game is South Korean. And Servant of the People is from the Ukraine. So one is South Korean, one is Ukrainian. Now think for a minute, raise your hand or put up the emoji if you could find another difference or another similarity.
No, I think no.
There's a lot.
No, South Korea don't have nothing.
There's a whole lot.
Because one is art, the other one is the life.
Give me a more concrete example. Squid Game is the South Korean show.
Yeah.
Ukrainian. Which one are you talking about?
Ukraine is the real life. Is a war. Is the people killing the other people. You can saw on the news how people's going out the country for other country. You can feeling the people is sad, crying. The people take the family, the animals, and the Squid Game is South Korea is a show. It's
okay.
It's a game. You know, you can go, you can see, you can go to the movie. You see, oh, you know, that's not real. You see, you can imagine in your brain, but you know that's not real. But the other you can feeling is real.
So your point, I'm paraphrasing what you're saying now this real country has this president who was the actor in the show, and that president who was an actor is now involved in a real war. That's perfect, Perla. Perfect distinction. So that's a big distinction from South Korea. For instance, this show Squid Game, that's fake. The people are not, there's not an actual. So let's make the contrast. What's not so real about Squid Game? Perla.
Oh, say again, teacher, sorry.
So that is how extremely real this this Ukrainian show is. How is Squid Game different?
Because a Squid Game is, you say, it's fake.
The story is.
It's a TV show. You can pause.
Largely fake.
You can, oh, go get something for eat, go back, and you know it's not real. It's the people.
Right.
Oh, a lot of people die, but you know it's still live. They are alive, but the Ukrainian, it's the people die. It's
That's right. So it's so real.
yeah.
It's really hard to tell the difference. Which one is which? Or is this something happening on TV? Or is this, and when you watch that show now, what's so tragic is that all of those cities in that TV series are destroyed in real life. That's why it's a very important show to watch, because it's like a time capsule, that moment in time.
And the Squid game is based on comic book features.
Ah, very good. Was it based on a comic book?
I think
Wait, is there a Squid Game comic book? I didn't, wait, the Squid Game, I know it was a screenwriter. The screenwriter, it was an original script. Was Squid Game a comic book? I never heard that. Hold on. That's interesting. I think I remember learning the screenwriter. No, it's not. It was never a comic book. No. But there's a lot of other differences. What can anyone come up with a similarity?
The people
that entertainment TV show.
Both are popular streamings. Both are shows that people stream. Both are shows. Yep. And Perla, what were you thinking?
Say, I know one is fake, one is real, but both is people die. They killing people.
Well, no. In the show, there's not a war happening in the show.
I didn't see this. I didn't see.
Right. There's not a war with Russia in the show.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a conflict with Russia, but it's not as extreme as the real world is today. Let's get some other voices. Good job, Perla. Good job, Alessi. Let's hear from some people who've been quiet. Let's hear from Handy, Faride, Cleomaine. Find a similarity. How are they similar? And a difference. How are they different? All right, I think it's time for, let's do a quick breakout room. I think everybody will have an easier time discussing this in smaller groups. How are these two shows similar? How are they different? All right, quick breakout room, and then we'll take our break, and then we'll wrap things up with the vocabulary. Here we go. Okay, so how are the two shows similar from each other? How are they different from each other? Here we go. I'll put you into small breakout rooms right now. Hi, Cleomaine. You want to join the breakout room now? Cleomaine, is your computer working well?
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking if your computer is working.
No.
Okay, you know who to call, right? Who do you call? Who do you call when your computer doesn't work? Join the breakout room, Cleomaine. Join the breakout room, buddy. Cleomaine, can you join the breakout room?